Okay, you're going live
We won't be
now.
able to do any work if we have to stop all the time. It's gonna cut into our
Yeah.
30 hours a day. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, I know. Okay. Well, it looks like the sound, it's being transcribed. I don't know what that means.
You're right.
Does that mean that that's going out? We are live now. Okay, great. Thank you. We're back. We had a little technical difficulty here. Such is the life of doing things online, but we're back. And just for everybody's, John, do you want to go through the dates so that anybody who
Sure.
cares?
So we've scheduled our next 4 meetings, which are next meeting is November 22nd, 9 to noon. Then the next meeting is December 3rd, 9 to 2. Then December 6th from 9 to 2:30. And then our final meeting will be on December 16th from 9 to 2.
Great. And those will be on our committee website.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, we can take that off the agenda. Do we want to go through the boards and commissions first that we want to?
Yeah, because
So
I think
then
that will help
everyone
us plan for the next
Yeah.
4 meetings.
Great, okay. So, Cameron, do you want to, is it easier for you to sit there or here?
Either way, if you're gonna be asking me questions, I'll sit right there that way.
We probably will be.
We probably will be. If we're gonna review the boards and commissions we want to review. Okay, so.
So really, we need to look at the last 2 columns, which is
Mhm.
the recommended status and the comments and notes. Because I believe the ones that either say maintain or repeal,
Mhm.
we've primarily reviewed.
Mhm.
And there's some that say merge. If it's blank, I believe we have not reviewed it. In most
Right,
instances.
so I think that starts on the 3rd page of this. The blank ones. The first one is the lives, oh no, we did that Pearl board.
I've not done that one, I know, I've talked about it.
Okay. Okay, do you want to start there?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Number 33?
Number 33, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And the Human Services Board, and these both say they need further AHS testimony, but the Pearl Board, the AHS is going to come from corrections, not from the health department. So,
Oh, yeah, we've already reviewed it.
well, we did some, but
Okay, well, we should look at,
we should look at them again. I
we should
think.
look at, figure out why. we should-
And the Human Services Board. What's the next one?
Interagency Coordinating Council for Families, Infants, Toddlers.
So can I ask a silly question? So the Agency of Human Services has said, basically, we can't do any of this right now.
No, they said it for this meeting.
Oh, for this meeting?
Yeah,
So going forward, they don't have a problem with coming in.
they didn't say they did. They said they simply couldn't do it. I think today, I think that they're scattered throughout the state around COVID. I know they're in Rutland and
Yep.
stuff. So I think that that's taking a lot of their time right now, but
And
they didn't say they wouldn't do it. They just said they couldn't come to this meeting.
All right. Okay.
and the ones that look like that they were established under federal law, is there any need for us to go back and
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
visit them?
I think in most instances, if it's established under federal law, what we found is that we
Just maintain it.
because there's money usually attached
Right,
to that, like,
right.
So that's what I
we
was,
won't get money for, the blind and visually impaired unless we have a state rehabilitation council for blind
Right.
and visually impaired.
right. So where it says it's federally required, then realistically,
We don't need any more testing.
well, it doesn't seem that it would benefit anybody for us to do that.
Because we can't repeal it and we can't change the legislation.
Right. So maybe we could change those to just say maintain to be consistent.
I think so, those four that are with the orange. Mhm.
Okay.
So then we jump over to the Department of Corrections Monitoring Commission, but that was only established this year, so I don't think we want to review it yet, because I don't think they've even, with Jim Baker leaving, I don't think they've even set it up yet. That was a request of his to establish this. The it's number
Oh, yeah.
halfway between 54 and 55.
We already talked about that
There's
one.
some numbering,
Yeah,
numbering that needs to happen.
yeah, so we're not gonna do that one
Are you,
right now.
suggesting we do that next year?
I'm suggesting that we could look at it if we want to next year. We can decide whether we should look at it or not, but we certainly can't do it now because I don't think it's even been officially established.
I don't see
So-
55 as being possible to do anything. with except- How are you gonna get rid of the Board of Health?
So let me just ask a question. If AHS is really busy, would it make sense for us to go farther into the report and look at other agencies and departments that might be less
Well,
stressed and could come?
I think
right
we
now.
should do that because I
Okay.
think we will get a lot of pushback. from
Yeah.
The agency.
Or we could just keep going, but not have them come in until December.
I think, I appreciate that. I'm
Okay.
just wondering if some of these are less controversial and easier to go over. I'm cognizant, I get that, the health department has got a lot on its plate. And we'll probably have more at the rate it's going, but there must be some of those that are, yes, we want to continue, but no, we don't. I mean, just easy kind of thing. That's my only thought. So,
I didn't realize how many there were. Holy cow.
Well, I'm going to suggest that we jump
Okay.
first of all to A&R.
Yep.
What number?
which number?
Well, they start on 76, but we've done them
We've
down,
already done that one.
we've done them down to the district environmental commissions.
I think we already decided we're not doing
I think we did too.
those fall under the, what is it, the Natural Resources Board.
So we're
Okay.
talking number 94.
Yeah, I think that 94 is,
So I serve as the chair of one of those commissions. So I'm going to not vote on that one at all. I think it's not a good idea for me to.
yeah, I think that we already,
We've already met with the Natural Resources Board. I mean,
Yeah.
Diane Snelling came in here to testify.
Yeah.
Um,
so we're not, I think we should.
And I mean, there's possibility of Act 250 reform this year, but good luck there. But
We may have a new chair,
we don't have, yeah, you're right. There's no chair now. There's an acting chair.
so your new chair may have a direction to comment on those things. So. All
All right,
right,
how about the interagency committee on chemical management?
well, that sounds like one we can get rid of. So,
Oh,
Agency secretaries and department commissioners.
Well,
There's two connected ones here. There's the Interagency Committee on Chemical Management, and then there's the Citizen Advisory Panel.
yeah, let's have them come in.
That's-
I think we should do those two and then.
Yeah.
And that sort of cleans up a lot of A&R,
Yeah.
right?
And those two let's just schedule them for our, the meeting on the 22nd. if we can.
What about 99?
That looks like one we could probably.
Yeah, let's,
So have them, because that's A&R too.
It sounds like next meeting's gonna be A&R.
Oh,
Is that-
actually,
Fair amount.
three things.
is that the one that, Matt Coda?
You know, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, okay. So we've got
Great.
3 for next time, and we're only meeting in the morning. I would suggest going on that 118, we not, that we not look at this year. They are so busy right now that,
Yeah,
and
118, 119, and 120.
119 went away.
Yep. No, it's not actually.
Well, why didn't it?
Well, if there's another, if somebody resigns,
Oh, I see.
there has to be another appointment.
I see.
I think we could do something with 126.
Wait a minute. Let me see, 119. So we got to leave it on the books kind of until, or in case. Is that what you're saying, John?
Yes, in case there's a resignation.
All right. And what about the 120?
It's actively meeting right now and providing advice to the Cannabis Control Board.
And it's it is a very active group.
So we're not going to do that one.
I wouldn't do any of
No.
those this year.
Until the Cannabis Control Board finishes its rulemaking, which will
Yeah.
probably not be for a couple of years.
Okay.
Right. They're just issuing their first formal report actually right now.
Yeah. What did, somebody said
125 doesn't have anything in it.
No, I said 126.
Okay.
oh, I think we should review 125.
It'll take relatively little time.
Maybe.
Well, I think we could, the same could apply for 126.
I don't know that 126 will be finished with its recommendations by then.
But December, they had to make their,
Right.
But that is that a time limited council? And why do we call it a council? Anyway, do you know?
I do not know if it's time limited.
I'm actually being facetious here, but
I'm just, well, we won't review it this year anyway, so.
Yeah,
so I like to have them come in.
Yeah.
So 126, do we want them to come in and? No?
No, because
they're not
Because-
finished their work.
they haven't even submitted their report yet.
right, they haven't got
We
any
don't want them to come in and,
recommendations even. Yeah. Although, maybe we don't want them.
Well, just-
132 for a while, because we just changed it.
we just changed it, and they really are also very busy.
Right, so we're looking, so for the 22nd, so it'll be next Monday, we're gonna have, is A&R kind of the plan?
Well,
So far,
I'm looking to see if there's,
Okay.
What is 133?
Yeah.
Council Advisory Committee.
is it a subgroup of the CJC?
says,
Do you,
it says provides advice to the council on allegations of law enforcement officer unprofessional conduct.
I think we should,
But
I think that is now a subcommittee of the
Right.
Criminal Justice Council, so we
we
might,
changed all that.
yeah, so we,
So wasn't that part of the change here a few years ago where we,
I think so, we might
Them up.
look at that one and just see if, and maybe Bill Sorrell could come in and,
well, don't we have a new director of,
yeah, but if it provides advice to the council, he's the chair of the council.
right, that's,
So they could both come in, the new director and,
Okay.
all right,
1122 again?
Yeah.
yeah. So now we have 4 on 11/22.
Okay.
Right? That's probably as much as we can do in the morning.
So we're talking 135 and 136, but it'd be the same folks. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not exactly the same.
No. No, I think 133.
133. Okay.
It's different because the other one is the fire service.
Right. But doesn't the director have oversight over that as well?
No, I don't think so.
He's not in charge of
You have-
fire service training.
He's not, he doesn't,
You have like Mike DeRocher was
yeah,
in charge of that, but I'm,
the council is only in charge of law enforcement.
okay, you're right. Yep.
So we could put those, but if we want to try and schedule things so Ameren can start sending
No, I
things
think
out.
we should
Yeah.
schedule everything so
Okay.
that Cameron has plenty of time to get the questionnaires out.
I think if it's Mike coming in, we could probably do 135 and 136 next Monday. I don't think he'll take a very long time. So far, we've got 3 from ANR. And then we'd have 3 from, I don't know, maybe not.
Public safety.
I would
Wait,
put that off until the next one.
okay,
Just because I know that there's so much pressure right now on fire departments. And I know that like a lot of the firefighters from our area have some suggestions around training and that kind of stuff. And so it might be part of the,
so move him to
Governance.
maybe December 3rd.
yeah.
But Madam Chair, didn't we make some significant changes in legislation a session or two ago to help alleviate
Fire?
that?
On fire.
Was law enforcement, wasn't it, where they could do it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yep, you're right. Thank you.
With that, Emmer?
So 12/3 for 135 and 136.
Correct.
And I would suggest that 140 we do at the same time next year as that we do as the cannabis issues, because I think isn't that going to be
Yeah, I don't think,
assumed
I would
by,
do that this year.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Um,
So was the only reason we're taking a look at 142 to decide about per diems?
I don't know. It does say that we voted to postpone action until the legislature considers the Secretary of Administration's recommendation required.
I think this is around funding.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, and I have to go back and check my emails, but I think there's still problems with the funding of the 911 report.
Okay.
Next two were just created.
So we don't need to look at them yet.
We look at
Even
the
our
State Board of
favorite one, the
Education
State
again?
Board of-
Cameron, you weren't around for the chaos around that one. Well, and then I actually worked really hard with John Carroll
Mhm.
around
Yeah.
making those changes.
So do we need to take a look at it?
I don't know that it's gonna do any good, I guess.
But he's stepped back, right? He's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, Oliver Olson is now the new chair of the State Board of Education.
Quiz?
Oliver Olson, former state rep.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, what's the name again?
Oliver Olson?
Oh, Oliver.
Oliver,
Yeah, down south.
Okay, yeah, I remember. Well, plus, if I remember right, the committee chairs had some significant concerns over our recommendations initially.
They did.
Or not go there.
some committee chairs.
Yeah, something.
I would say we leave that one alone for this.
But we've already tried to address it earlier.
Well, it says repeal on 7121. Did that happen?
No.
No, because we voted to repeal
That's right.
and then,
I think on the House side, it got amended.
yeah, and then, so the Senate Education Committee worked with John Carroll to come up with the changes. And he had made what I thought were really good recommendations,
So just leave it alone.
and if they weren't accepted on the
So the
others.
House
Okay.
committee chose not to.
So how about these 300 financial regulation and surplus lines insurance multi-state
The what?
clients, 155 through,
Oh, wait. Are you, did you skip over the 147?
Yeah, he did.
147?
You did it, but
Oh, I did.
Oh, he did not know where it was.
we made changes to the qualification. That was another hot potato, if you recall.
Oh, I think I do remember that.
Oh, and the Council of Independent Schools also was.
Yes.
Yes.
That I recall
Yeah.
vividly.
So where did you go next, Rob?
I was on, starting with 155.
154 was just set up this
Oh, yeah.
year.
Yeah. Surplus lines insurance.
I don't know.
It's a multi-state compliance compact, which means,
We don't have much control over it if it's
yeah, it probably,
compact.
But it does seem we could have one person or a couple of people come in and testify for those three, and whether we do anything or not is.
Right. Just so we understand what they are and why we, if we don't do anything, why we chose not to. I think that's,
that's
All right.
okay.
They may respond anyhow saying it's a compact, we can't do
Yeah.
whatever we want.
So would that be for 12-3? Are we there yet?
So that would be 155, 56, 57. I think the same person would probably be somebody from DFR. So how many do we have now for 12-3?
5, I think.
Five.
5.
We ought to be able to
Yeah.
do more than that because these three aren't,
really quick, I think.
yeah. So, oh, I guess we've already decided to continue the New England Board of Higher Education. Okay. Okay, oh, well, we're way down here
We'll
now.
go to labor now,
Yeah,
170.
We haven't taken any testimony on any of these.
Nope.
I,
I have concerns on a couple, so I'm
on
sure,
the what?
no, I have concerns for a couple of them that
Under labor?
Yes.
Yeah. I would like to hear them and how, because I have some concerns about some of them too.
is number 170, that's the one that has an army, a small army of people serving on it, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think our new member is chair of that board.
Oh,
Oh, that I didn't know. Okay.
There is several of them there, but I'm seeing at least 3 are federally required, right?
71, 73, and 75 are all federally required.
So that sort of limits the conversation around them, doesn't it? So
which ones are,
171,
73 and
73 and-
75.
oh, I see, yeah. Yeah, so those,
Skip the apprentice council.
I'd like to hear about some of these as well.
Yep.
Actually.
Yeah, 172 for sure. I don't even know what it means.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
okay, let's hear from that. And let's look at 170 also.
Yes.
So is that gonna be on 12-3 or would that be bumped to 12-6?
There's a lot of labor ones.
Yeah,
If
let's,
you go to the next page, so we might want to put them all on the same day.
yep.
That's what I was, so 12-6 would be more,
Yeah.
So that would be 170, 172.
174.
clicking them right off here, Matt.
What's that?
So we're clicking them right off here there, pal.
Yeah.
As far as your earlier question.
Labor Board Review Panel, what's, that's not, Tim Noonan's. That's the labor.
These are labor relations.
Labor Relations Board, which is further down. That's one
Okay.
eighty.
Oh, there, I see it.
I don't know what the labor,
Well, let's look at the labor, 174.
And the next one, I assume, is the ski areas stuff?
yeah,
Okay, that-
that's important.
So 176 and 177?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
And let's look at 178 too, because how is that different than 170?
Yeah, that's a good
Right.
point.
Were you gonna go down to 180, the State Labor Relations Board or not?
I don't think we're going to, I'm not sure that there's much I mean, we have to have a state labor relations board.
Sure.
The issue there is the per diem, I think.
Yeah, so when we do the per diems, then we can
Yep.
figure out how we address. But I don't think we're going to,
So we'll end that with 178, I think, right?
how many do we have for 12.6 now? They're all, we have all the labor ones,
6.
6, but they're all labor, right?
Yep.
Most of them.
One 182,
That'd be an easy one.
I think it should be, yeah, I mean, repealed. They had a one-time report that was due 8 years ago with no other known duty.
Right,
Can we put that on 12.3? Because we had some space
Sure.
on 12.3.
yeah.
Want that 12-3?
Hey, we
And
got
could
one
we
off.
have come up with a worse name for 183?
Oh, my goodness.
That also was a one-time report.
Right, it was, so.
Okay, let's put that
Put that
on
on
12.3.
12.3 too.
Also,
Bye-bye.
yeah.
You're vicious.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
Well, this one says one-time report due to.
Yeah. Same.
I'd like to, 187. No,
Yeah.
they just got changed, but I am curious to know how the change is working from their perspective. Or do we have committees of jurisdiction that are,
Well, economic development in the Senate has control over them. I don't know what their, who has jurisdiction in the
General.
House General.
So I do have to mention, I was the chair of the Department of Liquor and Lottery Task Force, which drafted the legislation. Meld those two, so I'm hoping that they're doing a really good job. I mean, but I
Yeah,
don't know, I've had
that's
no
fair.
interaction.
but I'll reconsider the question here. Maybe I could ask one of the committees of jurisdiction. I'm sure they've had some sort of testimony back since the merger.
I
I would hope.
wouldn't know.
Okay.
I mean, it would be interesting to know if, it's been 2 years now, has it? If they need
Yeah, 3
any
years.
legislative changes, any statutory changes to, I don't,
Staff changes too. I mean, the Head of the lottery departed, and I think the assistant in the liquor department has retired, so maybe it is a good time to take a look at it. So
okay, well, I'm fine either way if we want to have them.
But that would probably be on the 16th, not the 6th. Or do we have room left on the 6th? It's pretty full now.
Yeah, we have 7 on the 3rd and 6 on the 6th.
Well,
Oh, but we're all day on the
True,
6th.
true.
This doesn't have to be a super long report.
Okay,
No,
all right,
Let's put the liquor and lottery.
Testimony doesn't have to be that long. I mean.
Right.
if The report's good.
right,
So
okay.
12:06, is
Yeah.
that what you're?
Yeah.
Yep, fine.
187. State, I don't think we're gonna be able to do anything about it.
No, I don't think so. Natural Resources Board, I don't think we're going to probably do anything about it.
No,
Search and rescue, look, it says that's scheduled for repeal this July.
Yeah, we reviewed it, I think. I know we've reviewed it once.
Yeah,
Since I've been in the legislature for appeal or sunset. Continued it.
Public Utility Commission, there's no way to. Till PUC submits answers to the SAC question. Oh, didn't we pass that?
Yeah, we did, didn't we? There was
Yeah.
some language around as far as
If there were vacancies, they could,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did that.
somebody's term expired, that the governor could just reappoint or.
Yeah, we did
Without-
that.
Yeah,
Revised appointment process.
so we've taken care of that one,
Yeah.
right?
we have
Okay,
Texas Low-Level Radioactive Waste Disposal Compact Commission.
Yeah, I think we should take a
Yeah.
look at that one. We don't even have.
no, that's low level. That's the stuff that like comes from the hospitals and stuff. This isn't a Vermont Yankee issue, especially. I mean, there is some low level waste from the decommissioning of Vermont Yankee, but this is, we have low level radioactive waste that comes from
Hospital.
hospitals primarily. And this is a compact to, we could look at it if we wanted to, because it's very interesting when we were dealing with Vermont Yankee, that Vermont had very little to say
Right, but like
on this commission.
212.
Right.
Wouldn't that all sort of be connected as far as, I mean, I recognize 212 is probably around Yankee. You said
Yeah.
that was more of the hospital, but then like 213 residential building
That was supposed
energy.
to be repealed this past June.
Scheduled for
Yeah.
6. Oh,
The 212 is, my guess is that once it's completely decommissioned, that, I don't know if this will continue, because it's the decommissioning board. It's
Yeah.
not it's not the oversight of the storage, and we have nothing to say about that anyway. That's federal. So we could, they are way ahead of schedule and under budget. So we could have somebody come in and say, when do you think you'll be done?
okay.
So take 211 and 212 on the 16th? Or are we gonna try to really wrap things up by the 16th?
I think that we should, I think that we're going to, that we shouldn't schedule any people to come in on the 16th, because we're gonna need to have the report and work on that and make our final recommendation.
That makes sense. Then we're gonna have them come in, and we'd have them come in on the 6th, and then so it's either we have them come in or we don't, because I would
Have-
agree.
Do we have room on the 6th?
We have 7 on the 6th.
Most of them are labor, right?
Yes.
And then we had the liquor and lottery on the 6th, and that should be two.
If we put them down tentatively for 12/6, because it's probably reasonable to expect somebody may not be able to make it anyway.
Those 212, 211 and 212?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
13 is repealed.
So I think that we've run out of time for this.
8, yeah.
We're making progress, at least. Thanks.
Yeah, but look at the next 3 pages. We haven't taken testimony on any of it. Look, some from the field.
Oh, look at the one.
Is there-
A lot of them are things that we're not gonna look at, like the University of Vermont Board of Trustees and
Yeah,
the Morgan
Morgan
Horse
Horse
Farm
Farm.
Committee.
And the OPR ones, we did take testimony from Chris.
Yeah,
Well, 2 pages, we did some work, so it is.
Yeah, well, that's. what
Is there,
It says.
Yeah. there's nothing that says that we can't meet while we're in session, is there? You just-
there is nothing that says we can't. I don't know that, depending on who in the Senate gets appointed to the redistricting committee.
Yeah.
Because in the Senate, it isn't, a standing committee, so it has to meet in the evenings and at noon. So whoever gets appointed there is going to not have much availability. I don't know about how, if the House committee meets in the evenings and stuff during redistricting.
Haven't been through it before, so I don't know.
Yeah,
So I just looked
I
and
have.
counted.
Depends how fast we, can get a map together.
I think we're about 80% done,
yeah,
maybe even 85. There's a bunch of stuff that's already on Amron's notes, repealed that are still hanging out there. But
Yeah.
I think we're actually in pretty good shape.
and a lot of these, the ones under OPR, we're not going to look at them anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think Chris Winters came in,
Yeah.
or maybe Lauren did too.
No, they're making a good transition from boards to advisory, what do they call it? Advisory committees.
Yeah.
Which saves money.
And I think they're making those transitions every year.
Yeah.
So,
Can I just comment on Rob's point? And I'm gonna be one of the 2 people who's available to come in during the legislative session. I don't know if our other member is gonna have that flexibility. But having said that, I'm not sure it's the best thing to do for sitting legislators who will have phone calls. This is the 2nd year of the biennium. And so, I mean, I'm happy to come in if you want to schedule something, but recommendation might be focus on your legislative activities. That's just my opinion.
thank you. I actually agree with that. And I think that we wouldn't be able to make any recommendations for this year's legislation. Anyway, it would have to be for January of 2023. So,
The bill that will come out of here is due December 15th. Is that the last drafting?
well, we
deadline?
have to make the request December 1st. Can we make the request right now?
No, I already checked with Amron.
Oh, you already
We've
did.
already made the request.
Oh, we already have.
Okay.
Although, I realized we didn't specify whether we wanted it to be a House bill or a Senate bill.
It's typically started in the House.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I'm fine. I think we're fine with that.
Yeah.
So the 9th is currently the last day to approve a bill for the Senate anyway. I don't know if it's the same for the House.
They could do the
When
short,
is it?
Gosh,
But is it after the 16th?
yes.
yes.
Okay, oh, then it's fine. Okay, all right. Because then if it starts in this house, then that's,
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right, good. Okay, so we're all set on that.
Yep.
Okay. Do we want to take a little time to talk about our approach to the per diem and inventory conversations and how
Well,
we
we should
would approach
probably
those?
have Tanya come back in and talk about the inventory
We'll have, yeah,
and bring us back up to speed on that. I mean, I think we need to decide if we're gonna follow her recommendation.
Yeah.
Which I think, from what I recall, the last time she presented, it was a fairly expensive option.
Yeah.
And I think we would have a challenge as legislators presenting that budget to appropriations. At least I would.
Yeah, especially in the second year of a biennium.
Okay, so, well, I'm not sure that we would. I don't think we're going to make any suggestions around that this year. I think that what we need to think about is our approach to how we're going to do it. And my guess is that we wouldn't make any decisions until next
We could do it,
summer.
yeah, we could do it next year, but I mean,
Yeah.
we do need a plan about how
Yeah.
we're
How we're,
gonna finish that.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the things that we have to do.
Yep.
Right.
Do
So
you
let's-
recall, John, what her exact number was in terms of the cost? Say we went from, it's $50 for the most part right now.
no, this is about the inventory.
Oh,
She
okay.
didn't,
Sorry.
she didn't care about the.
Why don't we
per
do
diem.
this? We can put that on the agenda for our next meeting. And we can do a brief review of it, so people are up to speed on it.
Yeah.
On the inventory.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I just have to go back and look at, because she did a very good presentation. I mean, I think she was trying to come up with a boards and commissions inventory that looked like Minnesota's.
Yeah. She's,
And I think she had prices and everything. So we can quickly review what she did.
okay,
So let me make sure I understand. We're not actually going to be discussing specifics regarding which board or panel gets $50 versus,
We're not talking about per diems now.
we're talking about the
Inventory.
inventory now, but then, now, so we'll have her come in and review that for us, and then we can, okay, we do that. Now can we shift to per diems and how we're gonna approach that?
okay, sorry.
Now, not having the discussion right now of what we're gonna do, but how we're going to approach it and what the timing is on it and how. So,
So I have one comment, just one thought, I guess. I think I'd like to have a little broader purview of the discussion of per diem. I guess I want to hear from some other organizations or other entities, regarding the fairness of it, regarding the, just a broader perspective than just this is the only place we're going to take a look at it. Maybe there's other organizations or entities that might want to, and I'm just throwing this out here. I don't know for a fact, but maybe VPERG has something that they would like to say about this. I mean, I just think it's a little bit broader discussion that should include more entities or organizations than maybe we might consider.
so I have time to think about that, about what they would bring to the discussion. And I'm not opposed to it. I just am trying to think of what we would ask
Yeah.
of them, how we would, do you provide per diems for your board members? Is that the kind of thing that you're
No.
talking about?
I'm thinking, well, and not to get off on a different discussion, but they've taken they've taken a stance on redistricting, okay, how they look at it. And they're sort of an outside organization looking at a legislative event or activity. And I'm just thinking that there might be some other organizations, I use them as an example. They may have comment, not specifically about how they pay their board members, but the process itself. I mean, we looked at Minnesota, for example, right? I mean,
Not for per diems,
no, that's my point.
for inventory.
Right, but would we want to comment, would we want to ask them, did you have a discussion about how you pay individuals get per diem? And what were the questions you brought up? What were the concerns? To me, that's a bigger organization taking a look at what we're doing, just a different view, that's all. And I don't know all of them. I don't even know any of them. I use VPERG as an example. But
Well, I mean, one place to look with, to see if NCLS
Yeah.
has any information on this.
Yeah.
Because they may, and I emphasize may, collect information on an issue like this. So they may be able to provide us with what other states are doing with respect to providing per diems. We may also just want to hear from the governor's office, whoever is making the appointments to the boards and commissions, about, what are the issues with getting people to sit on these various boards and commissions? Is cost a factor? And I do know with respect to the issue of some of the racial equity boards and commissions that we've set up, there has been a discussion of, it's a challenge for some people who don't make a lot of money to sit on a board or commission for $50 a day.
So one of the things that I would like to know, I guess, when we go into this discussion, I think we'll probably have this discussion more in depth next year. But before then, what I would like us to look at is, first of all, there are some agencies, departments, boards, whatever, that pay a higher per diem. Is that part of their legislative authority to pay those higher per diems? And how did they get that authority? And where do the per diems come from for everybody? Like right now in the pension task force, the per diems for the non-legislators are coming from the treasurer's budget. So where do they, what do they come out of the department's regular budgets? Should they be able to manage their per diems? I mean, I'd like to have more understanding of how that works within departments and agencies, because we did hear that many of them pay higher per diems. And how do they do that?
I wouldn't say many, but some.
Some do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you take the cannabis control board, we specifically put in legislation what their salary should be.
But that's not a per diem.
No, that's a salary.
That's a salary, and that's an official board like PUC. But what we're talking about is the per diems for people who serve, like on the advisory committee,
Right.
the cannabis advisory committee. Do they get per diems? I don't know. And if they do they get the $50? And we had this huge discussion about the climate council in last year in committee about whether we could allow them to pay more and take it out of their budget, and it just became a big mess. So I'd like to understand better where the per diems come from, and if it's in the control of the board, the agency, or the department itself, to be able to manage that.
We have some conversation on it earlier on as far as, the agency having some discretion as to how much they pay, and it comes out of their direct budget.
But we don't, do we have to give every agency or department or board that special legislative authority to do it? Because we couldn't, the climate council could not do it
See,
without statutory
I mean,
authority.
there needs to be statutory authority for any per diem.
Yeah, but does the statute have to set it, or can the agencies themselves? There isn't, I don't think, statutory authority for the treasurer to pay the pension task force. It says that that's where the money will come from, but it doesn't say how much. Could the treasurer say, this is a task force that is spending an inordinate amount of time and doing this, I'm going to give them a per diem of $100 a day. Could she do that? Does she have the authority to do that?
No, she doesn't. We do as a legislature.
But so we would have to do each one, or can we give agencies and departments the authority to manage within their own budgets? I mean, in a broad sense, I don't know. It's just something,
That's a good policy question.
yeah.
It is.
Well, I think that those are the kinds of things we need to be looking at.
I mean, at least now there is some legislative control over the per diem because we basically have to either go with the $50 per diem or set something else. So we can continue that practice or we could let agencies set their own per diem, and then I don't know how that would work with appropriations, because at least when a bill goes into appropriations now, they know exactly how much typically we're paying in per diems, because they'll know the number of members that are going to receive a per diem, the number of meetings that are going to happen, and so that they can budget for that.
But
Whereas
that's
if
the
we
ones that
just-
we set up.
But we set up the majority of them.
So when they, Medicaid Review Board or whatever that's called, when they go in with their budget, is that in the appropriations line item that they're going to give $50 per diem? I mean, I know that it is when we set up a committee or to a summer study committee or whatever we call them.
Well, that's in some budget, or it's not going to get paid.
I know, but what I'm wondering is it in kind of the Agency of Human Services budget? And we tell them that they can only spend $50, or I know it has to be in a budget, but I'm just wondering if it's part of a,
So can I mention one thing that?
Yeah.
I don't want to go down this route too far, but with inflation raising its head and the potential of it being in effect for several years, $50 quickly becomes $45, $40, et cetera. And if John's pointing out there's some issues regarding equity, if $50 won't make it, then $40 certainly won't make it. So I think I would like to have at least a little discussion about sort of inflation and maybe, how long should we be looking at this? And like I say, $50 quickly becomes, now it doesn't make a difference to me, but people who want to serve and need a few bucks to show up on some of these boards and panels and commissions are going to think like, $40 won't allow me to fill my gas tank. Why am I going down there? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
and I don't need to get into the, the politics of it, but just, I think we should discuss it. That's all.
Well,
go ahead.
well, I agree with you, Matt, and I seem to recall the conversation more along what you were talking, Madam Chair, that the per diems, we'd give the agencies the authority to maybe set them, because if I remember right, even some agencies like were providing meals and things like that where others weren't. And they are built into a line item on the budgets. And I think all boards and commissions are created equal, but some are more equal than others. And, if you're on one that you meet for an hour or 2 hours versus if you're on one that meets, every day, 1 day a week, I think it's a different conversation.
Yeah, and I guess that's my question is, when we set up a legislative thing, the Appropriations Committee looks at it and says, no, there's too many people on there and it's going to cost too much. And so we're going to cut the membership down. But on those other boards and commissions that are under the jurisdiction of the agencies or the departments, does it make sense for us to be saying your per diem is $50 for those people? Or does it make sense for us? And this is a question I'm throwing out. I don't know. Or does it make sense for us to say, you have these 4 boards under your authority, and you know that they're going to meet this many times. Put in your budget what you're going to pay them for the per diems, and it's you get your budget passed and then you pay them. And we're not going to tell you that it's $50 a day. You have a budget and you work. That was what we tried to do with the Climate Council this year, is to say, you have this budget and and some people aren't taking any money and some people are unable to serve for $50 a day. So what we tried to do in our committee was say, just give out the per diems within your budget. If you need to pay $125 a day to get people to participate, then do that just within your budget. But we didn't do it in the end because it got so fraught with, well, if we do it for one, can't we do it for the others? And so my question is that a policy that we can even look at to say it's within your budget and you determine what you need to pay people to get involved on your boards and commissions. And then it comes out of your budget.
But
Yeah.
I guess I push back on, most boards and commissions are set up by the legislature, they're in bills. So you're gonna have this creation of a board or commission. It's gonna go to appropriations, but there's not gonna be data unless we're gonna say, agency, you decide.
Yeah,
But then
That's what I'm saying.
it's really the legislature that's setting it up. I think we need to maybe spend a little more time on thinking
Yeah.
about, okay, is this a board or commission that's gonna meet 4 times a year for 2 hours a day? Maybe 4 times a year. That's very different than, say, a board or commission that's meeting every month for a full day.
or every week for a full day,
Or
like
every week, like
the
the task
pension
force,
task
yeah.
force. Does that make sense to pay them $50?
Well,
a
should
day?
we
I mean-
move away from a per diem to a per hour charge?
That's another question. that we-
Because how are people paid in the real world? They're not paid a daily rate for
Yep.
the most part. Some people are, but it's more an hourly rate.
That's
Is
another
that- is that
question.
a- Is that a more fair way of compensating people that serve on these boards and commissions?
I don't know.
Does it potentially set up, they talk about doctor shopping, does it possibly set up a committee or board shopping from the general public? Like, well, I'll make more money if I'm on that one, so I think that might be where I'm going. I don't know that it
I'm
ever
not
gets
so
to that
sure.
point.
Because do you really want to sit on the Texas nuclear waste thing just because they pay you $15 an hour as opposed to something that you're really interested in?
Probably not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So I did have one final comment about, one final question that we might want to consider. And that is the method by which we process pay per diem. All right, so I have to, and I don't mind doing this because it's required, here's my piece of paper.
Yeah.
I gotta get a piece of paper, I gotta get signatures, et cetera, on the district environmental commissions. There's a $50 per application opportunity. But I don't fill any paperwork out at all. Okay, it's all done electronically. And in terms of saving paper, time, go back and forth, et cetera. So I just wonder if there's a smoother, faster, more efficient way to handle per diems than maybe how we're doing it. Like I say, as a district environmental commission, none of the people have to do that. It's all electronic. So I guess you could have somebody, well, they wouldn't do that. It has to go to the central office or the NRD. But paper is not a good way to, I don't think, to approach a situation like that. So, I'll do it, but
I
I
didn't
don't
realize
know.
that was still going on.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Anybody that is not a legislator has to, if they want their per diem, has to fill in one of those. And, I would say that that's a conversation we can have. The pithy conversation, I think, is around how we do it and what we pay and how we approve it. And then once we get that done, we can talk to our legislative IT people or Mike Ferrant or somebody and just say, is there an easier way to do this? But
Quicker, faster.
Yeah.
More paper.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I think that what we need to do is before, because we're not going to deal with this year.
No.
No, I had hoped that we might be able to do some, but maybe we could just get some information and actually Rob's suggestion that perhaps if we met once during the session, we could have some discussions around this and get some input from other legislators and other committee chairs about. Does that make any sense?
Well, it'd be good to hear from the governor's office, who
Yeah.
has to make most of the appointments to the
Yeah.
boards and commissions. You know, what struggles, if any, they're having
Yeah.
filling all these boards and commission positions, because it would be good to hear from them,
Yeah.
because they're dealing with this process day in, day out.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult to find people for all the various boards and commissions.
Yeah.
Just what are they hearing from people that won't serve?
Right.
Is it because of the money, is it time commitment, or?
Or that they're all held in Montpelier?
Yeah, no, it would be nice.
I,
No, I think
Yeah.
more of these things need to be by Zoom. And I mean, I know the legislature can't always be by Zoom, but some of these things could be by Zoom. I think that, especially coming from Southern Vermont, it's hard to serve on a board or commission that's meeting in Montpelier all the time.
it is.
That's a fair policy question to ask. It's easy for me. I come from Stowe, a few miles over, but if you're coming from Wyndham or Bennington County, I gotta drive all the way up here and, snow and everything else.
Yeah, even if it's a 1 or 2 hour meeting, it's almost a full day commitment.
Well, you don't have to worry about the snow. It doesn't snow in the south, so.
Yeah, but it does.
That I
snow-
know.
Does snow in northern Massachusetts.
Okay. All right, so I think that we just need to kind of zero in on the questions that we need to
Yeah,
look at.
so what I said is, and I'll do this, I'll take a look and see what
Okay.
NCLS has with respect to per diem.
Yep.
And we'll ask Tanya to come in on the inventories
On the
at our
inventory.
next meeting
Okay,
for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Or to take up a long time.
yeah.
I think that's it.
Move we adjourn.
I second that.
All right.